Hi and welcome to another episode of Virgin Media's The Future of Gaming. This week, as the dust has finally settled from E3, we thought we'd take a look at just what we can predict about the future of gaming using E3 as our crystal ball. First up, virtual reality is here to stay. Now, we all know this isn't the first time that virtual reality has tried to capture our gaming imagination, but at least this time it's got a pretty good shot. With large companies like Sony backing it with Project Morpheus, and of course the tidal wave of Oculus hype, if it was ever to work, now is the time. Aren't you a bit bored with better TVs? You know, more pixels, bigger screens? We need something more exciting to draw us into our games. And frankly, a bit of a curved screen ain't gonna cut it. So what does that mean for gaming in 10 years' time? Maybe we'll surpass virtual reality and get contact lenses that will be a little bit like Google Glass, so they could augment reality, but also we could play video games on them? That would be pretty cool. I mean, to be perfectly honest with you, I'd just sell for a phone that doesn't run out of battery halfway through the day. That'd be nice. Friends with benefits. One of the biggest things to come out of E3 this year was gaming with your mates. Yeah, there's a whole host of titles to encourage you to persuade your chums to become your gaming wingmen. From Assassin's Creed Unity, Fable Legends, Tom Clancy's The Division, to Evolve, it's all about making playdates, it would seem. But this time without your mum coming in and embarrassing you. Well, or she still might. I don't know what you get up to. How will this change in 10 to 20 years' time? With more connectivity and more gamification in all aspects of real life, it'll be a non-stop gaming experience. And instead of just catching up with what's going on in the football at lunchtime, you'll be jumping online with your mates, to take on the next big gaming challenge with your favourite clan. And it's still significantly less harmful playing video games than, being peer pressured into drinking Jaeger bombs instead. Fantasy is no longer geeky. With Game of Thrones suddenly making medieval fantasy cool, and well, I was going to say again there, but I don't really think that's applicable. Will the love of sexy subterfuge and gory battles be enough to lure fans of the TV series into the dark and exciting world of video games? Well, with BioWare's long-standing tradition of love subplots still going strong in Dragon Age Inquisition, and The Witcher's just blatant raunchy interludes, even when you're trying to save your girlfriend. Perhaps this is the time that fantasy gaming will be the new mainstream gaming fad. At the very least, you can practice chatting people up, which is something we could all use a little bit of help with. So crushingly awkward, no matter when you do it. What does this mean for the future of gaming, though? I think the most important thing to take away from this whole point, really, is the kind of the sexiness angle. I mean, I know, we as gamers, we know there are certain games that you can play where you can flirt, you can have relationships, you can have sex within the games, right? Because we played the games. And there are kind of the casual gamers who are completely unaware that this is something you can even have in a video game. So imagine when they find out, that's gonna be pretty big. And then imagine maybe the next step after that where it kind of moves into virtual reality. And then it just gets a little bit weird for quite some time. TV and games combined. Will the line between TV and gaming get even more blurred? Now, we know that Sony and Microsoft both are producing original content for their particular consoles, but actually Microsoft are kind of taking it one step further with a bit of transmedia with Quantum Break. So this is basically a video game and a TV series all kind of rolled into one. The game choices actively influence the outcome of the TV series. And will perhaps Telltale's legacy of, not too much actual gaming but focusing on story and choices also be a way to convince very casual gamers to get more into gaming? So what's the future of transmedia? I mean, aside from, more connectivity. Perhaps it will mean in 10 years' time that all passive entertainment will have an interactive element. I mean, imagine watching a movie at home and getting to choose whether Jennifer Aniston gets the guy or, falls over hilariously in front of her ex-boyfriend at a wedding. Or to take it even further, perhaps we'll make the big decisions on how movies are made. Who's going to star in them? What's going to happen? Who's going to direct it? It could work passively, like through big data crunching, or perhaps we'll just pick, who we want in the films, like a slightly more intensive Steam greenlight with follow-up questions. I wonder if there's a limit on how many Ryan Goslings you could have in one film. Is there such a thing as too much? Probably not. Weirder and weirder game add-ons. Ever since Far Cry Blood Dragon came on the scene with its shameless reskinning, but done in such a way that kind of made us love it all the more, although that might have been the interjection of Michael Bean, just a little bit. There's kind of been this desire that games can sort of stop taking themselves so seriously all the time. I mean, FIFA could certainly take a leaf out of their book. I mean, I appreciate it's supposed to be a bit realistic and whatever, but why can't we have like a DLC pack or something that has aliens or zombies or like those worm things from Tremors like messing with the match? I mean, why not? I appreciate it's got to be set in reality, but hint, we live in reality, it's really boring, that's why we play video games. I mean, come on guys, can't we make it a bit more interesting? Even EA Sports PGA Tour this year has decided it knows what the people want and has incorporated fantasy courses, you know, where boats crash through the islands as you try and get a birdie. Now, see, that's a golf game that I'd actually play. It's like the gaming equivalent of more cowbell. Even Capcom has done a fun new mashup with Dead Rising, where you can play as your favourite Capcom stars. The amusingly titled Super Ultra Dead Rising 3 Arcade Remix Hyper Edition DX Plus Alpha is hopefully the next in a gushing wave of more humorous offerings in terms of game add-ons. So what's the future of comedy crossovers? Well, it's probably going to get more silly, more ridiculous and more crazy until every game is basically like Super Smash Brothers, but with 400 things going on screen at any one time, and us oldies are never going to understand what's going on, and we're going to end up saying stupid things like, well, in my day, games had plots and protagonists. You kids won't understand. Indie in but name. There was a huge push this year, not only from Sony, but also from Microsoft as well, about the wonderfully massive amount of indie titles we're all going to be playing over the next few years. In fact, instead of the conference having them siphoned off into a small corner as more of a gimmick, indie games were front and centre all the way through. I think indie is actually one of the most influential parts in the shift in gaming. It's a chance for devs to try out something new and unique, to challenge how to play a game and what exactly one is. It's blown some fresh air into what was becoming a rather repetitive game market. So how's this going to shake things up for our future gamer selves? Well, we're going to see more unique gameplay experiences, weirder peripherals, weirder plots, more unique and complex visuals than we've ever seen. Basically just seeing a lot more risks in terms of how we game and what we play. It's going to blow our tiny gamer minds. Asymmetric gameplay. Apart from sounding like some sort of cool new sub-sexual genre on Tinder, it seems that asymmetric is here to stay. The short version, and a lot less sexier sounding, I would say, is basically a game which has different play styles. Okay, so you'll be doing one thing and someone else will be playing in a different way, having a completely different experience. This year we saw Rainbow Six Siege, Evolve, Fable Legends and Morpheus game The Deep all embrace multiple ways to play within the game. So how's it going to look in 10 years' time? Instead of the usual character pigeonholes, you know, like tank or ranged or medic, whatever, we'll have a whole host of new alternatives that will engage us in different ways. Perhaps there'll be a game that will unite the hardcore and casual gamers together through asymmetric playstyles. Your little brother or your mum could be super useful in-game, providing basic assistance via a tablet, whilst you and your mates go and tear it up. It'll break down the walls of who can play what, by providing versions and styles to suit all gamer types. Now that would be pretty incredible. Just try and hold back on the F-bombs if your mum's online. As you can see, these new titles could pave the way for a whole new way to game. We just need to see what sparks your imagination and which ones will get seen right through to the end. That's all from us from Virgin Media's The Future of Gaming. Don't forget to join us next week and of course check out all the other articles online showing you what's around the gaming corner. We'll see you next time.